This is Trini Rabat from Allies in Color and the Center of Multicultural Political Engagement, Literacy, and Leadership. Um, I'm in Canberra this week, and I'm holding a multicultural networking event tomorrow evening. I hope to see multicultural Canberrans at that event tomorrow. I'm in Canberra also to meet with ministers and stuff and to discuss a variety of issues, but the central issue being the Multicultural Framework review by the federal government by the Office of Multicultural Affairs and Home Affairs. They are wanting community public input into the terms of reference that will inform the extensive review that they will later conduct. Sounds complicated, really isn't. Basically, they want multicultural public, to tell the government what their focus areas need to be for the purpose of conducting reviews into the existing systems and policies. Okay, so I keep harping on it like a broken record that terms of reference is not just terms of reference, it is terms of reference. It's important because if your issue or concern isn't captured in it as an area of focus, then within the scope of the extensive review that the select committee or panel will do, your issue may not be captured. It will be considered out of scope. Got it? So it's important to provide input into the terms of reference. Call it a scoping document, if you will. Very important. So I met with the Multicultural Affairs advisor to Minister Andrew Giles, and I can only describe our meeting as a very spirited meeting because, listen, nobody likes criticisms, all right? And to be fair to them, they're all new to this job, in to this portfolio. It is going to take time for them to wrap their head around the lay of the land, and we also need to understand that they are working within existing systems that they had to inherit to do these consultations. So it's not going to be perfect. Okay, I certainly am not expecting perfection, but it had to be said that their manner of engaging with community to provide the input was insufficient, inadequate. A lot of multicultural community members weren't aware of this multicultural framework review at all. Nobody knew. Um, and a journalist that reported on it, ABC journalist that reported on it, he took the trouble to ask other community groups. So it wasn't just my opinion, but also other community groups. And they too echoed my view that there was lack of communication, lack of awareness, that the time frame to make the submission, which is March 19th, having announced it on February 23, is insufficient. Okay, and the fact that it wasn't much guidance provided on what terms of reference even means. You have to understand, a lot of people are community workers, grassroots community workers, who don't come from policy background, who don't have governance experience. The government needs to consider that when using jargons like these, right? People don't understand. And I have taken the effort to educate people as they come through the sessions that, hey, this is what terms of reference means. Okay, at this stage, we are not providing input into the actual review, it's scoping. We're scoping out the focus areas. So I've had to take on the burden of that part of educating community members, which I really shouldn't have to do. It's really the job of the government. But anyway, like I said, nobody is expecting perfection. But from that meeting, I did come away with not getting clear answers to a few things, which I think the government needs to do a better job at informing. For instance, apparently prominent Australians, multicultural representatives, prominent/eminent Australians will be selected to lead the review. How will these people be selected? Is there a criteria that they need to meet? Do they need to have an OAM title? Is it extensive media and television appearance? Is it years of community service? What constitutes as a multicultural representative who is prominent or eminent enough to lead this review? Don't know, not 100% sure on that, who the people are that are going to be selected to lead the review. There is an Australian Multicultural Council. There are members in the council that were ministerial appointments. How were they selected? What was the criteria? How did they get this? How did they get this job of being involved now into being part of holding these extensive consultations and reviews once the terms of reference has been sorted out? I wasn't 100% clear on that, but look, there's no perfect science or art to selecting people. It's difficult, it's not easy, no one is going to get it perfect, right? But I think at bare minimum there needs to be some transparency around the processes. As far as I'm concerned, I'd be pretty happy with that. I'm not expecting a perfect process, just not possible. Okay, it's impractical. But having said that, I really do want to emphasize, guys, it's not always the government's fault for getting for not getting things perfect or right enough. It is also your duty and your responsibility to look into these things, participate, engage with government in such areas that where decisions are made to impact your lives. It's your responsibility and obligation. I keep hearing multicultural Australians going on and on about, oh, we don't have representation in politics, we need diversity in politics. But guess what? Political diversity starts with political engagement. If we can't get sufficient multicultural Australians politically engaged and involved, paying attention to such processes, asking questions of the government, no chance in hell do we have any hope of increasing diversity anywhere further than what it is right now, which is pretty pathetic. It is good, but not good enough. Okay, 8% representation in the House of 8% representation in the House of Representatives at culturally diverse representation is not good enough. We need more. The public service situation is even more dire. There have been newspaper articles released on that topic. You can go and read it. So, emphasize again, if you guys in the community cannot attend my consultation sessions, which will be held up to next week, and if you guys don't have the ability um, to send me emails, the bullet points, that's all cool. You can absolutely make your own submission if you have the time and the capacity and the energy to do it. I encourage all of you to make your own submissions. If you don't understand something, ask them the questions, please. Put it in an email, ask them the questions. There is no such thing as stupid questions, okay? Don't get intimidated by that. There is no such thing. The more the people that complain and provide feedback into government about what's wrong and where the shortcomings are, then you will give them an opportunity to fix it, right? You can't expect them to be aware of problems if you're not actively communicating with them. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with this message, that political engagement is very important. I'm going to drum this message everywhere I go, at every moment I can, because that is the key to increasing diversity in public service. Okay,